Hello, and thanks for tuning in to the Dream is Real podcast. This is the place if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in New York real estate. Before we get started, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Don't want you to miss an episode as we keep bringing you great content and professionals in and around the real estate industry. Today, I am here with Clifford Pierrot. Did I say that correctly?
You said it right.
Oh, yes, of Solid Rock Home Inspections. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, Jason. How you doing today?
Awesome. Doing very, very good. Well, inspection is a big part of the process.
Absolutely.
How? Tell us a little bit about your background, your history. How did you get into this segment of the industry?
Well, I actually started my career in construction. I have about 25 years in construction, general contracting. So I've been doing that. That was my base ground of getting into the industry. I basically got started in the industry from buying my first home. When I bought my first home, I had an inspection done. When I got the inspection done, I got a nice bill at the end for about maybe an hour's worth of the guy's time. He just basically walked around the house and he was done. And I got a report on carbon copy at the time. I guess that's how they were doing it.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, this seems like something that I can do. Okay. And that's basically how I got interested in doing that.
Awesome. Well, that's an interesting take. So your first reaction when you saw the bill, was it a sense of like, oh, well, he was just here for an hour? That seemed pretty easy.
Yes.
I'm just saying your perspective at that moment.
Absolutely. I thought it was pretty easy. I felt at the time that I didn't get my money's worth. He didn't pretty much, he didn't explain things to me the way I thought, an inspection would have gone.
Sure.
I didn't get the information that I thought I would have gotten. So I was a little bit disappointed. And I felt that was something that I can provide to the community, to those who are in need of a home, those who are in need of knowing what's going on with their homes. I felt like that's something that I can genuinely do and do it with an honest and transparent perspective.
Awesome. So, and with your construction background, obviously, more so than the layman, you know what you're looking at when you see it.
Absolutely.
What were some of the gaps between what you expected and what that particular home inspector provided you?
What I expected was, basically to walk me through the inspection, to explain, some of the safety things, some of the things that I had to look out for, because I discovered cracks in my foundation that I didn't know that was there. I've discovered
pre or post inspection.
Post inspection.
Post inspection.
Sorry. Yeah. Termite damage. Okay. I understand there are some things that you can't see, but then there are some things that are obvious. And it was the obvious things that I was disappointed about.
Right. Well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the industry now?
I've been in the industry a little bit over 8 years doing inspections.
Okay.
Doing inspections, about 4 years full-time inspection. I'm a solo inspector right now. For now, looking to grow the business further and get multiple inspectors.
Got it. So when you're talking going into a home, what are some of the first things that you look at to begin the inspection?
Well, when I approach the home, I'm ready to start my inspection before I even get out the house. I'm looking at the other homes on the block, seeing how the landscape is looking. When I get to the home, I look at the shingles first. I'm looking at the home, the structure, if the house has any type of leanage to it or anything like that. I'm looking around the home for drainage, make sure, they have proper drainage, whether it's from the downspouts, extensions around the house, around the perimeter of the house. I'm checking for peeling paint, any safety hazards, loose railings, trip hazards. These are certain things that I look for, cracks in foundations, trees too close, grown too close to the home, because a lot of things like that can affect the home. Some of them are not major issues, but can affect the home's durability in the long run.
Wow, wow. And these are things that wouldn't, again, you wouldn't necessarily think to even check out.
No,
right?
no. A lot of times we miss this, okay? Especially, for example, like downspouts, for example. A lot of downspouts, I've inspected homes, and you see downspouts without any leads, okay? Downspouts, the water from the roof is draining directly down to the foundation.
Got
and
it.
when you get into the basement, it's damp down there, or you see residue of efflorescence on the walls. That's like indications.
Yeah, what is that?
Basically, efflorescence is a powdery substance that grows on the wall. Okay, it's from moisture. Usually, when it dries up, it forms a powdery substance. On the
Is there a
walls.
certain color to it?
It is white.
Okay.
It's white and it's very flaky. Okay, it does. It's not harmful to anyone. Okay, there's ways to mediate it real easy. Okay, and a lot of causes of humidity, wetness in the basements because of issues from downspouts, poor drainage around the homes.
Got it. So let's go back to the point where you post inspection found the foundation issues,
Yes.
right? Obviously, foundation issues usually fixable, but
Yes.
can be major.
Can be major, yeah.
What was the outcome of that in terms of the repairs that were needed, or maybe the steps that you needed? Did you purchase the home and then find that, or was it still within the
I
transaction
purchased
process?
the home, then found it. Purchased the home, then found it.
What could have been done to find, from your expertise, now, what could have been done better to make you aware of that?
A more detailed inspection report. Okay, a more detailed inspection report. It lacked information. It was basically a black and white, 3, 4, 5 pages of a report. It lacked information. It didn't describe any cracking in the foundation, whether it was small or minor or major. I think that whether it was a minor or small crack, I should have known about it and could have been remedied.
So, in most cases, you work directly for the buyer. It's more times than not the buyer is paying you, so that's where your responsibility lies. Correct?
Absolutely. I work for the buyer. Okay. When I'm inspecting a home, I'm very transparent and very detailed with every aspect of the home, whether it's a major defect or a minor defect. I think any defect is worth mentioning. Okay, but at the same time, you don't want to mention something that's going to alarm a buyer when it's something very
Sure.
minor. You know what I mean? It's all about how you word it to them, but also, keeping everything calm, without exciting them too much, because the way you explain to them can also, cause them to run from a deal that could have been a great deal for them.
Sure. Sure. You're injected into a very emotional process.
Of
It's
course.
one of the most, if not the most important transaction you'll make in a lifetime.
yep.
So how do you balance that? The ability to present, potential issues, which, unless it's new, and even in new construction, you walk in and not everything's going to be perfect. How do you balance the ability to properly report to them without alarming them?
Well, what helps me out with my background in the construction field, I'm able to explain to them the minor defects. I'm able to explain to them the major defect in a way that it's easy for them to understand, because I don't just point out the defects. I explain to them what's causing it, how you can prevent it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If it's something long-term, it's something that you need to replace. And I also provide estimates. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes, I also provide estimates to give them an idea of how much these repairs would cost them.
Well, I could see where that is tremendously valuable, because then at least you go into the purchase knowing what you have.
Absolutely.
I can think about when I purchased my home. It was with somebody that I knew, so we kind of went in knowing. But even still, beyond that, even after what we knew and what came back on inspection, there were things that we found that were there. But that's where you're saying coming in with a real thorough look. Walk us through a couple areas of the house that have the potential to have issues that are maybe under the surface that you would never know unless you really had an inspector that was going to do his or her due diligence?
Okay. You can start at the crawl space. Okay. Some crawl spaces are tight. Some crawl spaces are very, short. You literally have to climb into the crawl spaces. Okay. In the crawl spaces, you find a lot of dampness, sitting water, insulation that's missing. Okay. Sometimes people don't want to go down there. Okay. Sometimes people don't want to crawl through there. I go above and beyond. All right. I suit up, I mask up, I crawl through, I investigate things that other people may not have seen. In the attic spaces, sometimes you encounter mold in the attic. And to get to certain places, you have to climb over HVAC systems, and
Right.
in order to see these
Some
things.
people pack the attics with
Christmas
I-
items,
Chris-
storage.
exactly.
And some people do it on purpose, so you don't get to that side. You know what I mean? So I go above and beyond and try to get to these places that other wouldn't be able to see. I use certain equipment also, infrared cameras, moisture detectors. All right, because there are certain things that you cannot see with your eyes.
Got it.
Okay,
So where would you would use those in attics in particular?
I would use them in the attics. I'll use them ceilings. All right, around doors. You can also see, because basically what it does is it measures temperature. Okay, hot and cold. You can see air leakage, missing insulation, leaks. Okay, usually around the duct areas, you can see any leakage. It measures temperature from hot water tanks or your HVAC system. All right, moisture meter will let me know if there's any moisture in that area for sure. Okay, the camera will actually show me a picture of it. Moisture meter will actually detect if there's actual moisture in that wall. Okay, or if it's just an area or a section that's just missing some insulation.
Moisture can cause a myriad of issues, correct?
Oh man, moisture control is a awfully lot of problems. That's why during inspections, any little cracks I see, I also mention to them to seal them, because water, it has a way of finding its way through cracks and finding its way into the home. So that's definitely something that we need to look out for, because with moisture comes mold. Okay, it comes mold. It comes other damaging things that it can do to your home also.
What are some other areas of the house that can pose challenges?
The basement.
Basement?
Okay, high humidity. Okay, always recommend dehumidifiers in the basement. Okay, high humidity in the basement due to leakage, plumbing issues, because basements are always considered wet until proven otherwise because of the location. You're underground. Okay, so there's a lot of dampness, especially if there's one living there. There's no air flowing through there, so a lot of times a lot of mold will be found in the basements.
Right, and mold can be. I mean, the wall could look perfectly fine, but behind it, yeah,
There's some stuff going on, especially with a finished basement.
Yep, I had a family member that had the copper piping coming out, the sewage pipe going out, and it was just a tiny leak, just a tiny crack, it was just a small bleed, and it caused black mold in their house.
Absolutely.
So interesting. What about roofing? I mean, a lot of times you look at a roof and you could tell it needs to be done, but that's not always the case, right?
Not always the case. Not every roof, because it leaks, has to be done over also.
Okay.
Some homes you'll find a brand new roof. Okay. You'll find a roof that's midlife. Some homes you'll find a roof that's at the end of its life. Okay. You got multiple shingles that can cause wear from the roof. Okay, multiple shingles.
And you have skylights, right? I mean,
skylights, roofs. I do my roof inspections by walking on roofs.
Oh, so you go up there
as long as it's safe.
Fair enough.
I will climb all roofs as long as it's safe. Okay, if not, I have pole cameras, or I actually use a drone. Okay, I have a drone that will fly over, take a look at it, get real close, take real good shots of the shingles, get around the chimney, check flashing, and you'll be surprised how good of a shot the drone can take.
Sure.
Yeah. So that gives me a lot of information that I can provide to the clients also.
Right. So you have committed to getting the right equipment in.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so what? How long? Now we think of drones, but I would have to imagine 4 or 5 years ago that was a bit of a, I don't want to say a luxury, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's been a steady growth in the use of those. Is there anything that you see industry wise coming down the pike, like new equipment, new ways of inspecting? I mean, it seems like things are moving
It's
quick.
incredible. For the crawl spaces, has these robots you can actually drive in there and check crawl spaces. You got the drones. You got so much technology that's improved, that's helping us in this industry now. There's nothing better than a feel, but when it comes to a 3-story roof, it's a little
Right.
difficult. You want to be safe when you're doing.
No,
these
better
things
you than
also.
me.
You know what I mean?
I make it halfway up the ladder and choose another profession, probably.
So it's very convenient for us. It makes the job easier, safer, and gives us a little more detail too.
Sure. I have to imagine with artificial intelligence too, that it's going to be able to
Awesome.
help you make those determinations and decisions. If you can, give us some examples of a house that you walk into. Maybe it looked okay, and then something that you found that was incredibly helpful to the buyer.
All right. Recently, actually, house looked amazing. New construction.
New construction.
New construction. All right.
So if someone's out there with new construction, they still need an inspection.
Man. Especially on new construction.
Especially on new construction.
No, but seriously, all homes need a good proper inspection because no home is perfect, whether it's a new construction, whether it's a home from 1930 or 1995. Okay, all homes, you're going to find something wrong with it.
Right.
I walked into this home. First of all, I looked it up. I said, oh, man, it's going to be a nice and easy inspection. It's going to be a breeze. And it pretty much was a breeze. All right. When I got down to the basement, I opened up the electrical closet, was checking around, and I just started looking. I see some black areas in the ceiling and the joists.
Okay.
And then when I look down, I see a bucket. There's some water leaking. There's no bathroom above. There's a porch area above. So I had to do some investigation. Inspection is not just me coming out inspecting. I have to also investigate why certain things are happening the way it is. So as I walked around the house, I went outside, noticed that it was a water spigot leaking, water hose spigot leaking. Okay. But
leaking from the outside or leaking along the
inside, the pipe.
Oh, the pipe coming in.
But you can't see it on the inside.
Right.
You cannot see it on the inside. So when they opened it up, they discovered that it was actually a hose bib leaking.
So was the black, was that mold or just water damage?
Water damage. It
Water
actually
damage.
soaked up into the wood. Soaked up. And then you had water leaking. You had a tub bucket.
Somebody knew about it, right?
Knew about it. They knew about it. They knew about it.
There was a bucket there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They knew about it.
Wow.
They knew about it.
Wow. And what do you think by being able to locate that, what did you avoid for that client?
I avoided them hundreds of dollars, because they could have easily taped it up,
Right.
mopped it up, put some paint, but yet you might have mold growing in the back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And when it gets to that point, then you're talking, there's no telling. It just depends on how much, and you have to contain it. You got to hope you've gotten it. And that's why you see people, well, you actually, if they do this, you don't see people waiving the inspections in the transaction process. What do you think about that?
That's dangerous. I've heard of people waiving inspections and call me later and asking me to re-inspect the home because they found so many things that was bad. Sloping floors, doors that don't close properly, windows not installed correctly, windows that were actually literally falling out. This is actually a client that I had that called me.
Windows actually falling out, you said?
Out.
Took me a second to
Literally.
process that.
Literally.
Falling out?
Out, the frame.
Just not secured?
Not secured. It was a renovation job and the window was not in place properly. Okay, one of the windows came out. Not during the inspection.
Right.
All right, one of the windows came out. They just had tons of problems in that home. Tons of problems in that home. Foundation, termites, all types of issues.
Now, is termite inspection part of a typical inspection process, or is that something that's normally like an add-on?
It's not part of a typical inspection, but with us at Solid Rock, we include it with every inspection. Okay, we include it with every inspection. We do termite inspections, not just termites, any wood-destroying organism we check for. Carpenter ants, any type of wood-destroying organism, we inspect for that.
And is that a check on the exterior, interior, both?
Interior, garages, detached garages, basements, attics, living rooms.
Basically anywhere where you have exposed wood, where you can get a good look at that.
Absolutely.
So let's for the last few minutes pivot for a second to the seller, right? In what instances would a seller do an inspection maybe prior to engaging with a buyer?
Okay, good question, Jason. A seller would actually do a pre-seller's inspection. Okay, how does that help them? It helps them identify any problems in the home ahead of time before there's an offer on the home. It helps speed up the process of them selling the home also, because they get to tackle any issues, any repairs ahead of time. Okay, so by the time the buyer gets to look at the house and has their own inspection done, okay, it'll be minimum to none of repairs that has to be done because it has already been addressed.
Right, right.
Most cases.
Do you find homeowners taking that proactive move?
Yes, I've found that, definitely. Worked with a lot of homeowners that done that in the past, who like to get to know what's going on with their homes so they can fix it before they sell it.
You Absolutely. Do relatively the same process, or does anything change?
Nothing changes. Same exact process. I do it as if it's just a buyer that's buying it. Okay, detailed inspection, let them know exactly what's going on in it. Even if they know, sometimes they give me information that helps the inspection go along also.
Awesome.
Because they live in the home,
So if someone's looking for a home inspector, I think you've definitely presented a good case, for Solid Rock.
Absolutely.
Being thorough, the termite inspection with everyone. Can you think of some other characteristics that someone should strongly consider when considering a home inspector?
Someone that's honest, okay? Someone that's honest, someone that's thorough, someone that's knows what they're doing, someone that has some education behind them, okay? Because I didn't just wake up out the blue and say, hey, I wanted to do this. I have educational background on this. I've done studies. You want somebody that's going to be, that's there for you also, okay? I always tell my clients, after this inspection, my doors are open. Call me anytime. I have referrals for them. I can help them after they move in. So it's not just a one-time thing. I inspect, take your money, and then you're gone. So I keep a relationship with my clients.
Well, it sounds like early on you encountered someone in the industry. You identified a need, and with your construction background, have really been able to take it to it to a level that you would expect for yourself or one of your loved ones.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
I inspect every home like it's my home, and I don't want to make it sound like a cliche thing, but it's a true thing. I inspect every home like it's my home, okay? Whether an agent is not happy with the results that I found, whether the seller is not happy, as long as my client is happy, the buyer, I'm happy.
That's real talk, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely.
How could someone get in touch with you and Solid Rock to get their home inspected?
Oh, you can get in touch with me in a variety of ways. You can find me on Instagram at SRock Home Inspections. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on the web at mysolidrockhomeinspections.com. That's mysolidrockhomeinspections.com. And the easier way, you can call me, 718-749-7268.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. Man. I appreciate your time. Appreciate the invite. It was awesome.
Yep, this was fun. And thank you for tuning in to the Dream is Real podcast. You can check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Dream Select Realty, on X at Dream Select Home. If you want to be part of this program, just email us, hometeam@dreamselectrealty.com. Like, share, subscribe, tune in next time, and don't forget, the dream is real.